Hello and welcome to this video, which is a continuation of my series on the progressed ascendant moving into each of the 12 signs of the zodiac. My name is Gabby Turner and I'm glad to have you. So we're going to be talking about the progressed ascendant moving into the sign of Virgo. And I'm slowly building a collection here focused on each sign, but I do want to say just in general, the progressed ascendant, when it's changing into a new sign, this does signal a new era of the person's life, in which you are going to be, or whoever's chart you're looking at, this person is going to be facing life differently than they have before, approaching life. So the ascendant is that. It's like how we are approaching life. The ascendant has to do with knowing what we want out of life and thinking this is the best way to achieve that. So when your progressed ascendant moves into a new sign, you are experiencing a shift in your life in which you are seeing like, oh, okay, what I'm wanting out of life right now is going to require me to approach life differently. Sometimes it can also be like what's happening in my life externally is leading me to approaching things differently as well. For example, yes, we're here to talk about Virgo, but when my progressed ascendant moved into the sign of Aries, I also moved into a time of life when I needed to be much more assertive in order to manage what was happening in my life. And it was a time when I also desired to take on more leadership skills. So there's more about that in the progressed ascendant in Aries video, but it is a big time of this is a new era of my life. I would say even more so than the progressed sun moving into a new sign. Definitely more than the moon, because the moon progresses into new signs much more quickly. But the ascendant is about a person's identity, right? It's that singular, like, I am. This is who I am. And this is like the initial burst of energy that I'm greeting the world with. So anyway, a new era is the way that I look at it. And you will start seeing these changes, like you'll start noticing in yourself and in your life, things are starting to change as the progressed ascendant gets to the later degrees of the previous sign, which in this case would be Leo. You'll start noticing that maybe what you want out of life seems to be a bit different, or what's inspiring you, what's making you feel motivated in life is different than it had been. So the biggest shift with these two signs is that Leo is very much wanting to be the hero, right? Leo wants to shine its light out into the world. It's a sign about like feeling very special. It's like very much main character energy, Leo. And Virgo is quite different from that. Virgo is much more like, I'm a member of the supporting cast. I'm still getting paid because Virgo is very practical, but like, you know, if the movie doesn't do well, I'm not the one getting the flack for it, right? So where Leo wants to be the hero and the main character and understand, not that they just want to, it's like an understanding like, oh, this is who I am. I'm special. People take notice of me. I get attention. And I feel comfortable with that. And I also think I'm very special. Other people seem to notice I'm special, right? Like that's Leo energy. Virgo is a lot more humble. Like I said, it would be a sign that would be more comfortable working in a supporting manner or working behind the scenes. there's more I want to say about it, but in relation to that shift between Leo and Virgo, I would say that that is maybe the biggest difference. Also, I would say like Leo is a sign that does kind of expect other people to want to support their vision. You know, if you think of it like, you know, the sign that follows another sign is like if Leo is the first house energy, the second house, which is resources, would be Virgo. So people with Leo energy are gonna expect like other people who are kind of subservient to me. Like, you know, I'm the king and everyone wants to be my servant. Like, why wouldn't they want to serve me and understand that my vision is so special and other people should be serving my vision? So you're switching from that kind of energy of like, you know, I'm the royalty and everyone else are my humble servants, into the actual humble servant mode with Virgo. So there's something changing in your life when your progressed ascendant is moving into Virgo, where you, first of all, you're starting to get way more humble and just way more practical. You're not needing life to be glamorous. You're not needing life to be one big adventure. You just want stability. You want this feeling of like, okay, when I put in a particular effort, I'm going to get a fairly predictable end result, right? Like, we can't always predict everything, but Virgo is the most comfortable in situations where it's like, okay, I want to wash my clothes. I'm going to put them in the washer and do X, Y, and Z, and then in the dryer. And in the end, I'm going to have clean laundry, right? Virgo likes knowing what to expect in a very practical sense. Because it's like, I've done this before, and I know that if I put in X type of energy, I'll get Y result. And if I want Y result, then I'll keep putting in X energy. If I don't like the result, then I can fine tune it and do something a little differently, because Virgo is also a sign that likes to fine tune things, to make things more efficient, to make things run more smoothly, to make things more effective. It likes that sort of perfecting quality. It is known as a sign of perfectionism. Which it can be true, especially when Virgo is malfunctioning. That can be one of its shadow expressions, is too much perfectionism. But really, it just wants to improve things, and it has a good understanding. Like, often growing plants is used as a metaphor for Virgo. Doesn't mean that this is going to be an era of your life specifically where you grow plants, but in terms of the types of things that a Virgo finds rewarding, it is at least a good analogy. You know that to grow plants, you need to do X, Y, and Z, right? You got to get some seeds, you plant them, you water them, you make sure that they have the right nutrients depending on which type of seed it is, right? Again, Virgo is very practical. They're also very good at acquiring the necessary knowledge. Like, okay, these are such and such seeds, and I know that this type of plant needs this type of environment, right? Virgo is good at finding the best way to do something and then continuing to improve upon it. So with doing the laundry, right? Like, Virgo is like, okay, I'm doing the laundry, and okay, but I'm doing some research and I'm finding out, like, well, maybe this type of detergent would be better for this type of clothes or whatever. So let me try that. They don't really like to try new things in a harebrained way. They like, you know, a good working hypothesis. You know, like, they're not people who want things to be changing all the time, but if there is something that's going to be changed about a routine or the way that they do something, it's going to be for the purposes of, like, okay, I have good reasons, good evidence to think that this change in detergent is going to lead to an improvement. So let me try that, see if it works. If it does, then I will keep going with it. If not, you know, back to the drawing board. But so again, like, this would be a very practical, this isn't going to be like probably the most exciting era of your life. Now, that said, there are many factors happening at once in our charts. There could be other transits or progressions going on that indicate other things, but when we're just looking exclusively at this progression of your ascendant into Virgo, this is about moving into a time of practical realism and like seeking practical results out of life. I want to put in the effort that's going to get the result. Yeah, so Virgo also likes routines and regularity. So this could be a sort of like time in your life where you become more routine with things, where you establish like, okay, this is what I like to do. You know, you're going to get into routines of things. Routines that work for you, that keep things running smoothly. You'll want life to be running smoothly. I will also say Virgo is a mutable sign, so it is adaptable. All of the mutable signs have a way of adapting. And if you think about when the Virgo season comes along, and by Virgo season we mean when the sun moves into the sign of Virgo. This is mostly in September, right? This is a time when the weather is changing and we have some cooler days and some warmer days, or even like throughout the day. Like, it might be kind of chilly in the morning and then hot by afternoon. So, you know, what do we do in this Virgo adaptable energy? We start using layers, right? Like, so we put layers on, we take layers off. This shows the adaptability of Virgo. I can adapt to the situation in order to make it as perfect as possible. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be something going on at this time in your life where you feel that just seeking humble, practical results is going to give you the best life. And you will find that to be true. I mean, it will generally work for you, this approach. So I'm not sure what else to say about it. Maybe at the end of your progressed Leo era, you might welcome a little bit of being more of a supporting cast, focusing on practical results rather than like just getting attention, being seen, you know. It's kind of like, to me, like being successful versus looking successful. Do you know? Like, a person can be very successful and yet not be getting the applause, right? So that would be something that you need to get used to as well. You may not be getting the same amount of applause as before. And again, there can be various factors that affect that. Like, you know, for example, here's a situation that could be happening in your progressions. Your progressed ascendant moves into Virgo, and at the same time, maybe your progressed sun, which rules the sign of Leo, is now on your natal ascendant, right? So you could have multiple progressions that are like influencing you in different ways, because that progressed sun coming conjunct with your natal ascendant is also going to influence your natal ascendant. Your natal ascendant doesn't disappear. Your natal chart doesn't disappear with progressions. Progressions just show how you are evolving within that initial blueprint of your natal chart. So the progressed sun on your ascendant would definitely still be bringing that Leo-esque quality to the way that you approach life, even as your progressed ascendant is moving out of Leo. I'm just giving a possible situation so that you can understand, like, again, like I said, there are many moving parts when we're looking at transits and progressions and the natal chart altogether and all of that. So I hope that this was helpful for you in understanding what to expect, or maybe you're already in it, or maybe you're looking at this for someone else's chart, trying to understand on behalf of them. But regardless of why you're here, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.